So William can strip Camilla's title in his first hour as king, and the paperwork to do it has been sitting in plain sight for almost 90 years. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's not a leak from a palace insider. That's literally in the London Gazette, fully archived, available to anyone with an internet connection and a strong cup of coffee. The entire mechanism for taking away a royal style exists. It's been used before, and the last time they fired it up, the target was his mother. So the question isn't really whether he can do it. The question is whether anyone's actually paying attention to how fast the clock moves once the crown changes heads. And I have to be honest, the fact that more people aren't talking about the 11-day window is kind of wild to me, because it already ran once in 2022, and nobody noticed what was happening inside it. Before we get into the documents, and trust me, we are going through 15 of them, I just want to say, if you enjoy deep dives into royal history that actually show you the receipts, hit that subscribe button on Crown Watch. We're pulling the original paperwork here, not just the press releases. Alright, let's get into it. When Charles dies, Camilla doesn't just lose a husband, she loses the 3 letters standing between her and a title she couldn't even bring herself to use for 18 years. We have to start with a fence. The original paper fence that decided who gets to be called Her Royal Highness and who doesn't. It's document number 1 from November 30th, 1917. George V, one man with one pen, draws a line around who is royal. The instrument defines it clearly. Children of the sovereign, children of his sons, and 1 grandson. That's the whole list. Not stone, not law, just paper. And paper is exactly what Diana was removed with. No vote, no court, no committee. Everyone holding an HR tonight, and Diana held one once. Holds it because a monarch said so. In July of 1981, that fence opened up for a 20-year-old kindergarten assistant named Diana Spencer. 15 years later, it closed behind her. And suddenly she was curtsying to people who used to curtsy to her. Nothing about the fence changed, only the hand on the gate. The question was never whether a style can move. It was always who holds the pen. And in 1937, one holder proved it in the harshest way you could imagine. Document number 2, May 27, 1937, is probably the cruelest document in the archive. Edward VII is created Duke of Windsor and keeps the style Royal Highness. Same document. Very next clause, his wife and any descendants. Don't think about that for a second. 1 document, 1 signature. A man keeps his royal style, and the woman he married is written out in the next clause. I call it the same page clause, and it's the most useful precedent in this entire story. And almost nobody's heard of it. Here's why it matters more than anything. Once a monarch has done it once, it's set a law, he can do it again. No appeal, no court, no vote. Which is exactly how they reached Diana 59 years later. 1 sheet, 1 seal, 1 week, and the most famous woman in the world was no longer Her Royal Highness. Wallis Simpson never held an HRH for a day of her life, and spent 35 years watching rooms curtsy to her husband and not to her. Diana spent her last year doing exactly that at her own son's school events. So whenever anyone tells you this could never be done, the answer already exists, dated, sealed, published. It just hasn't been pointed that way for 89 years. And an instrument that can withhold the style can also create one, which brings us to document number 3, October 22nd, 1948. The pen pointed back George V's 6th issue's letters patent. So, Princess Elizabeth's children will be born with a style Royal Highness under the 1917 rule. They wouldn't have qualified because Elizabeth was a daughter, not a son. So, it changed. Not by Parliament, not by any court. A fresh instrument weeks before Charles was born, 1917, built the fence. 1937 pushed a woman outside, 1948 pulled the child inside. And the child pulled inside in 1948 was Charles, who 48 years later stood on the other side of the instrument that pushed Diana out. Same office, same seal. 3 completely different outcomes. The fence is not a law of nature, it is a decision renewed by whoever wears the crown. In 1996, it was aimed at Diana, which brings us to the instrument you actually watched happen with your own eyes. Document number 4 is the hinge, August 21st, 1996. The 7-day removal letters patent declare a divorced wife of a British prince loses the style Royal Highness. A week later, the divorce is absolute and she stops being Her Royal Highness. Say those 2 sentences slowly. She kept the title. She lost the style. Hear the difference. The whole elapsed time between signature and effect was 7 days. From that day, she was Diana, Princess of Wales, without the 3 letters and without the word "the" in front. 36 years old, mother of the next 2 kings. No court, no vote, no consent from her. And get this, because everything after depends on it. It happened in living memory to the most famous woman in the world, and the country absorbed it in a week. So that's 4 documents down, and now you know the machine is real. It built the fence, pushed a woman out, pulled a child in, and took 3 letters off the mother of a future king. 11 documents left, and everything now is about what happens when the pen changes hands. I want to get to document number 10, the 11 days that decide whether any of this happens before a funeral. But first, documents 5 through 8. There's a promise on the public record from 2005 made about Diana's replacement that most people have completely forgotten. And here's what I didn't tell you about that window. It already ran once in 2022, and nobody noticed what was happening inside it. Keep number 15 in mind too, because the thing everybody gets wrong about giving Diana her letters back isn't legal. It's arithmetic and it's uncomfortable. Document number 5, February 10th, 2005. The broken promise. Here's the promise almost nobody remembers. Engagement Day, Clarence House states it plainly. Camilla will be HR, the Duchess of Cornwall. And when Charles succeeds, Princess Consort, not Queen, Princess Consort, those were the words. That was the arrangement offered for accepting the marriage. It was in the official announcement, reported everywhere, and then quietly set aside. The public came around to a specific promise, and it wasn't kept. A promise about Diana's replacement in Diana's title 8 years after Diana was buried, then 2 months later, the law handed Camilla something she chose not to use. Document number 6, April 9th, 2005. The title she never touched. Camilla marries the Prince of Wales, and in that second she legally becomes Princess of Wales automatically. No instrument required, not one. She never used it. She was styled Duchess of Cornwall instead, and the reason given was Diana. The country wasn't ready to hear that title on another woman, and the palace knew it. Sit with that admission for a moment. A title she held in law from her wedding day, she shelved for 18 years because of public feeling about Diana. 8 years dead and still stronger than the law. Entitled in-law, blocked by memory. Can you imagine being handed a title and not daring to use it? Hold that word sentiment. Comes back at number 15. And if sentiment can suspend a title, the law grants automatically. The reverse answers itself. What happens when sentiment turns and the instruments are available? In 2022, somebody found out document number 7, February 5th, 2022, the sincere wish. For 17 years, that promise held. And then one paragraph ended it. 70 years to the day since her own accession, Elizabeth II issues a message. It is her sincere wish that when her son exceeds Camilla, be known as Queen Consort. Buckingham Pace published it, and that was that. Not an act of parliament, not a change in the law. A wish from a 95-year-old woman 7 months before her death. From a promise to the nation to a sentence in a letter in 1996. One instrument moved what Diana had been guaranteed by marriage. Stop and notice the pattern. Nothing here is fixed. Every arrangement around this woman's title has been rewritten by whoever held the position to do it. In September 2022, that position changed hands, and it will change hands again on a timetable nobody controls. Document number 8, May 6, 2023. The vanishing word. Watch a word disappear. Camilla is crowned beside Charles at Westminster Abbey, and afterwards official material starts saying, Queen Camilla. The qualifier just went. Not by proclamation, not by sealed instrument, by usage settling into the record, and usage that settles in can settle out. What arrives without paper can leave without paper. And notice what Diana never had. A single line of paper protecting anything. Her title came with a wedding and left with a signature. The style HRH is different. That one rests on an instrument, the same class that reached Diana in 1996, which is why another instrument can reach it. Which brings us to the question everyone clicked for. How fast can a new king move? Document number 9, September 8th, 2022, the first hour. And honestly, this is the one I slowed down on. Accession is instantaneous. The moment Elizabeth died, Charles was king and Diana's son became heir in the same second. No gap, no ceremony. So the first hour is real. A sovereign's authority over styles exists from minute one, but the machinery is slower. The Accession Council met 2 days later, televised, millions watched. Nobody clocked what it meant. So if you're picturing a signature at dawn, adjust it. The power is immediate. The sealed document takes a working day or two. First hour is when he can decide. First week is when the paper exists. The 1996 instrument that took Diana's 3 letters was drawn, sealed, and gazetted inside a week. Which leaves one question. How much time is there before the funeral? Document number 10, the 11-day window. Elizabeth died on September 8th, 2022. Her funeral was on the 19th. Count them 11 days national mourning, lying in state processions, arrivals. And inside all of it, the new king was already signing, already receiving, already reigning. Charles held audiences and ran the crown's business while his mother lay in Westminster Hall. Think about that image. Diana's son inherits the same window, and he already knows what it can be used for. So before the funeral isn't a figure of speech, it happened once already on a time anyone can check. And everything here fits inside it with room to spare. The only question is whether a new king would want the country's first sight of his reign to be that. And here's the thing, there's a version where he doesn't even sign it himself. That's document number 11. 10 documents down, all dated, all published, all sitting where anyone can find them. The first 10 prove the machine exists. The last 5 show where it goes, and that's where Diana's name comes back into the record. Just follow one sheet of paper. Documents 11, 12, and 13 are one document at 3 stages. Who signs it? Or it becomes real, or the country reads it. A sheet exactly like it made that journey in 1996 with Diana's name on it. Then number 14 is the one limit on a king's power. And number 15 is the one everybody gets wrong about Diana. The piece I've held back is this. The obstacle isn't the palace, it isn't parliament, it's a date. Document number 11, December 2022, the hand that signs. Stage 1 is the hand that signs. And in 2022, Parliament quietly widened it. The Councillors of State Act added Princess Anne and Prince Edward to those who can act for the sovereign. Look at who that is. Anne, the woman who drove to Balmoral the night Diana died and stayed with the boys. Of everyone in that building, she's the least likely to be sentimental about this. And she's William's closest ally. Now, I know what you're thinking. Councillors act under specific authorization, and the biggest constitutional acts stay with the sovereign personally, but Parliament reaching in at the exact moment a new reign began tells you the machinery isn't frozen. It was edited against Diana in 1996, edited again in 2022. It gets edited whenever somebody wants it edited. That's stage 1, the hand. Now follow the paper to stage 2, document number 12, the Crown Office, where paper becomes real. This is where Diana's name went. Letters patent aren't an email. They pass under the Great Seal prepared through the Crown Office as a physical sealed document, which is why nothing here happens by press release. 29 years of whisper about Diana, and the one thing that changed her life was a sealed sheet of paper. Rumor can't be filed. A sealed instrument can. In August 1996, a sheet went through that office, took that seal, and by the time it came out, Diana was no longer Her Royal Highness. Picture the actual afternoon. A clerk in a government building in London. Wax, a press, a signature already dry, no ceremony, nobody watching. Minutes. Somewhere in that building is the record of the few minutes it took to end the most famous woman in the world's right to be called Royal Highness, and the man who did it had never met her. That's stage 2, the seal. And once a document has it, there's one more place it has to go. Document number 13, the London Gazette, the public record. Stage 3 is where the country reads it. Letters patent or published in the London Gazette. The 1917 instrument is there. The 1996 one is there. Anyone can read them tonight. And once you've read the 1996 entry, the sentence about Diana in flat civil service English, you'll never hear the words letters patent the same way again. Go and find it. It's 4 lines long. No emotion, no explanation, no acknowledgement of who she was, or the 2 boys asleep upstairs while it was drafted. 4 lines, and a woman lost the name she'd carried 15 years. Nobody has ever gone back and added a single word. So the day it happens, it appears in the Gazette. Same journal, same form as the one that removed Diana's 3 letters. Read these 3 lines slowly. Same journal, same instrument class, opposite direction. That's stage 3, the record, the end of the road. In 1996, that road ended with a sentence about Diana that sat there unended for 30 years. The same road runs the other way, and the man who'd send a sheet back down it is the boy who was 14 when the one about Diana went out. Which brings us to the one thing a king can't do alone. Document number 14, the statute wall, what a king cannot take. Here's the line nobody crosses, and it's the reason the rest of this is coming. Styles sit under the prerogative. Peerages do not, a due poem and earldom. Any title in the peerage, those sit in statute, and removing one is a parliamentary matter, not a royal one. Call it the statute wall. A sovereign moves a style in days. Removing a peerage needs Westminster, and Westminster's almost never done it. Almost never. If you've been waiting on this as long as most people watching, you deserve the real version, not the comfortable one. The HR is reachable, the prerogative covers it, and the precedents are there. Now turn that around, because this is the part nobody says out loud. Every other title in his family is protected by Parliament. Everyone needs a vote, a debate, a building full of people who have to agree. Can you imagine getting that through? The style, the 3 letters, is the one thing a single person can move alone in an afternoon with nobody's permission. Of everything Camilla holds, the least protected thing she owns is the exact thing they took from Diana in 7 days. The wall protects her dukes. It doesn't protect the letters, and the letters are the only part that ever mattered. Let that land. William has never once said he'll do it. He's also never once said he won't. Document number 15, the correction, what getting hers back really means. This is the last one and the honest one. Here's what most people do with this and why it fails them. They picture a ceremonial, a moment where 3 letters are handed back and something is finally put right. Then they read that Diana died on the 31st of August 1997. The hope collapses in one sentence, and they stop asking. So say the true thing first. Nobody can hand 3 letters to a woman gone 29 years. And any channel telling you otherwise is selling you something. Now be exact about what restoration would be. It isn't a return, it's a correction. How she's styled on official material, how she's named on memorials, what the Gazette says about her. It isn't a small thing. It's the whole thing. If you're the kind of person who never quite let this go, here's what you were angry about. The complaint was never that Diana lost a courtesy. It was that an institution wrote a judgment about her into the permanent record and never took it back. A restoration is that judgment withdrawn. Same journal, same office, at the request of her son. The woman doesn't come back, but the verdict does. Those are the 15 instruments that decide whether Camilla keeps 3 letters and whether Diana gets hers back. But there's one thing that can make every single one of them worthless. And it isn't Parliament, and it isn't the law. It's the one virtue everybody praises this family for. Restraint. The power is there. The paperwork is there. The precedent is there. The only missing piece is the will to use it.